Hi, ladies and gentlemen. We're here to moderate this wonderful occasion here today. We want to introduce ourselves. My name is Philip Washington. I'm senior chaplain, and we want to thank our sponsors, Brown Law Office, Stephanie Phillip, U.S. State Senate candidate, Ava Bravo, Las Vegas Justice of the Peace Department 2 candidate, and Christian Bishop, Nevada State Senate District 5 candidate. Our process goes as following. Our panel members would introduce themselves by giving their name, position, organizations they represent. Then each candidate will be given 30 seconds to introduce themselves. Please include why you're running and why you're seeking our endorsement. Candidates, please remember, this is an interview, not a debate. So when asked a question from a panel member, you will please direct your answers toward the panel member only. When a panel member asks you a question, you have 45 seconds to answer. With 15 seconds left, you will see the yellow card, which is Jim James shows you, and when your time is up, you will get the red card. In the end, candidates will be given 1 minute for a closing statement. At the end of each interview, we thank our sponsors. Brown Law Office, Stephanie Phillips, again, and Ava Bravos, Christian Bishops, and the Barbie Goody Vegas. That includes, okay? You're now in the hands of our panelists.
Okay, so we'll all just introduce ourselves. Jim Jonas, Director of Veterans and Politics.
Andre Haynes, Armed Forces Chamber PAC.
Patsy Brown, Armed Forces Chamber PAC.
Matthew DeFalco, Nevada Democratic Veterans and Military Families Caucus.
Ryan Saunders for Nevada Democratic Veterans.
Martin Walker, Veterans in Politics International.
Okay, candidates, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, you got 30 to 45 seconds. Just explain, just tell them your name, what office you're running for, and why you're seeking our endorsements. Well, ladies first.
Thank you. My name is Eileen Eady, and I am running for Clark County School District Board Trustee in District B. I'm a lifelong educator. I started out educating children of my own, but also in elementary school and special ed. I later ran a daycare center. Now I educate adults. I work with volunteers. I'm running because, as a lifelong educator, I would like to see us do better for our students. I'm seeking your endorsement because I understand how vital it is to have a partnership between the schools and the armed forces communities. Our veterans are vital, and they're a vital lifeline in our society. We also want to make sure we're taking those ROTC programs and making sure that they're good and well-funded, but also well-supported. I'm seeking your endorsement today because I think we can all do a lot better together. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Deven Singh. I'm running for Clark County Trustee, School District B. I've been in Vegas since 1980, so 43 years. I went to junior high, high school, college here. My dad was a professor at UNLV. Right now, I'm a professor at CSN. I was a substitute teacher also for 2-3 years, and I've seen sad part. Nevada, Clark County, we've been at the bottom for all that time. We still are. There are too many issues, not just funding, to be honest, in my opinion, right now is enough, but the resources are not being used properly. All my kids have graduated. They went to CSD, and they're doing awesome, but there are too many lacking.
Jim Jonas, Director of Veterans and Politics. My question is to both of you. We've seen a lot of turmoil on this board. Sometimes it makes the news. It almost seems to me like the board members like fighting amongst each other more than actually doing something for our students. If elected, how are you going to do to kind of bridge the divide that's in the school board right now? And we'll start with you, Deven.
I noticed the same thing, and that is a major reason why I decided to run. This is, trustees are supposed to act like trustees. Everybody is watching them, including kids. And I looked at a couple of tapes for previous meetings, and this is not acceptable. We should act like adults. We are supposed to do our job, not fight. Everybody has a vote, so vote the way you want to. But you don't have to fight the other trustees or instead of solving the problem, they are creating it. And that to me is not acceptable, and from first day on, that will be my focus. If we can't even work together, how can we resolve any issues?
Thank you. I think it's pretty hard because those dynamics show up everywhere, don't they? One of the things that we can do, though, is when I go in, I plan on being a neutral force. I really, when it comes down to it, I want to know what we're doing for our students and what we're doing for our teachers. So instead of coming at this from, well, this is my point of view and this is what I think, I want to know, what is this going to do? What policy, who is this going to help? How is it going to help our teachers? And that's where I come from. And if we all keep that in mind and remember that we are building programs and policies for our students so that they have a future, and we leave our egos at the door, we can come together and do some great things.
Thank you both for participating. I'm Andre Haynes from the Armed Forces Chamber PAC. My question will be for both of you. In CCSD, over the last 20 years, we've had 5 superintendents, a lot of turnover. It's been rumored that past superintendent Dr. Dwight Jones, that during his time here, he got several female teachers pregnant. It's also been rumored that our most recent superintendent, Dr. Jesus Jara, for the last 6 to 12 months actually relocated to the state of Florida and wasn't living here, and that was one of the reasons why he canceled the state of the school. If you are elected and you find out things that the superintendent is doing that violates their contract, will you hold them accountable, and will you be public and forthright about information you find out?
Absolutely. The superintendent doesn't just work for the school board and the teachers, they work for the community. You have to hold people accountable. What are we teaching our kids if we're just like, it's okay, you broke the law, it's okay, you can go off to Florida. We'll be fine with that. No, we have to hold people accountable. We have to make sure that we're also putting that example out for our students. So yes, I also think while we're doing the search, we should look for somebody who has a good record with wherever they worked before. Let's find out what their staff thought of them. Let's find out what the satisfaction survey rating was for their schools. How did their schools improve? What did the community think of them?
Definitely not acceptable. Not just on one, in every angle you look at it. I might even look into criminal proceedings. Did those teachers, why they did what they did? Was there intimidation involved? Was some benefits that came out of it? And it should be fully and completely prosecuted. To make an example, this is not a position, any position to be honest, that is not that you can take advantage of your position and do similar things. So definitely criminal case, definitely no secret. That was one of the other reasons. There were too many meetings behind privacy. No. This is, we are setting example for kids every day. And if they are not, it's not acceptable.
Patsy Brown, Armed Forces Chamber PAC. So this question is for both of you. Can you give us your educational background and why you guys are qualified for this position?
To be honest, I'm the least educated in my family, kind of. I'm only bachelor's. I did UNLV Business Administration. I've been a real estate broker for over 30 years. I have 2 different companies, Real Estate Planet. I have about 50 plus agents working for me. Education-wise, as I said, my 2 daughters right now, they just finished masters 3 days ago from UNLV. One is master's in mechanical engineering. The other one is doing it kinesiology. She wants to be a doctor. My son is Vassar, and all of them graduated from CCSD. So CCSD overall is not as bad as we make it, but yes, it does need stop the bickering, stop this, focus on what we're supposed to.
I am the most qualified for this position. I have a background in teaching, not just teaching regular education children, but also teaching special education. In my time as a teacher, I was an inclusion specialist. It was my job to go in and help the teachers coach them in working with these students that were new, with all these new and interesting challenges that they had. So I come to this not just with an educational background, but also with an understanding of where you meet people in the road and meeting people where they're at and figuring out how we can move forward. Thank you for the warning. Got distracted. I'm so sorry. And not only do I have experience working with the community, helping parents advocate for their students, I advocate for my own students. I do have children here in the Clark County School District, and thank you.
Thanks you both for being here. My question, we can start with Mr. Singh. I heard you say that CCSD has enough funding, but it's not being allocated properly. What do you plan to cut? What do you want to increase in funding? And maybe we can do Eileen after that.
Simple thing. Right now, most of the elementary and junior high kids have take-home iPads. Okay? One of the teachers was beaten up by one of the students because she took away the iPad. iPads giving to kids, in my opinion, at this early age is not the answer. I can take a kid with an iPad and I can bring a student from any one of the third world countries who use a blackboard if they're lucky, and they will beat them at any subject they want to. So providing all these things is not the answer. We need to improve the teachers, get them enthused to learn how to teach.
Mr. DeFalco, will you please repeat the question? Sure.
Do you have any plans to increase funding in any particular areas and take funding away from any particular areas?
That's a good question. Thank you. I think that before we talk about increasing or decreasing funding, I would need to become a little bit more familiar with the budget. I would want to sit down with a panel of teachers. I would want to sit down with the other school board trustees, and then I would want to sit down with family members and say, let's look at this budget in detail. Let's talk about how it looks at your school. Let's talk about where the money's going. Are we benefiting the students the most with this money, or are we benefiting other people? When I sat in on an SOT meeting, the principal had a decision to, actually I was a member of the SOT team, the principal had a decision to hire another teacher or hire another administrator. And I said, I really believe, and so did the other members on the team, we really believe that you should hire another teacher. We need more bodies in the classroom. And I think at the end of the day, that is what we need to think about. We need to think about how are we working with those kids. They need the technology, they need the things that they have access to in order to complete their work, but we also need to make sure that the money is going back into the students, getting back into the teachers.
So with budget and funding being a topic, can you provide some examples of your experience working with budget, policy making, or strategic planning?
Go ahead.
No, I do this as a business owner. I've had a restaurant, I had a gas station, different things. I've been teaching. I am a professor at CSN right now. Before I did have a substitute teaching license. So budgeting, as I said, it's where you put the resources where they are needed. Definitely we need it in classes. Definitely we need teachers to get help. And definitely we need to increase parents and students' involvement. Right now, we are lacking in all these. We do have PTAs, but parents don't show up. We do have students' organization. All they do is plan either a prom or this. We need to get them involved with other students and find out who needs help.
Mr. Saunders, one more time with the question, please.
Yep, absolutely. So can you provide some examples from your experience working with budgets, policymaking, or strategic planning?
Sure. I've participated in policymaking by attending advocacies up at the State House, working with the legislator to pass multiple bills in the previous legislative sessions. Even though we've only lived here since 2013, I started becoming active in 2016. I've been up to lobby at every legislative session since then. I also work with companies to work on their budgets, and while the school budget of $2 billion plus is really large and not like anything you would have worked with in a company before, the essentials are the same. You've got money coming in, you've got money going out, you've got to find the best use of it. The return on your investment in this case is your investment in the kids.
Good afternoon, and thank you for being here with us. So, according to this report, again, it's from 2 years ago, but Nevada ranked 49th in education attainment, 42nd in school quality, 46th best in school systems in America, 47th in numeracy rate, and literacy rate was 49th. Again, it's from 2 years ago, so things have changed just a little bit, not much. What are your thoughts on how we can improve the academic achievement rates for our students?
I think we need to, first of all, look at why it's not working, right? Our students aren't achieving. My first question is always why? What's not working? What aren't we doing? What do we need to be doing differently to work on that? And then, again, we would sit with a panel of teachers. We need to talk about what the solutions are. I'm one board member of 7, and now then additional community members too. We all have a valid opinion and a valid stake in this, and I think that the more people you bring to the table to discuss these things, the better it is.
Technically, that was one of the reasons why I did choose to run for this. There are too many ways, too many things we need to focus on. One of the main thing is dropout rate. All we have to do is, there have been other places where people have done. We have to commit. We need to get the student union involved and say, okay, which kids are in trouble? We need to figure out why. Most students want to learn. Most teachers want to teach. We have the technology now that if they can't, some female students are pregnant. They may not be able to come to school. Why don't we do online? There are some kids who may have to work that financially, there are too many reasons. So we need to hit each one of them and have them commit to graduate from first day on. We have too many ways to give them incentive. We have too many ways to give them motivation.
Any room for more questions?
Yeah. Can I go first on that one? Oh, yeah, no, we got time. Hey, so here's something that was brought to my attention from a couple past trustees. It goes around the agenda. So the chair sets the agenda with the superintendent, and then the school board trustees don't get to even see what the meeting agenda is until 2 days prior to the meeting. If sitting on that board, will you push back to try to adjust the rules so that everybody gets to have a fair share in who sets the agenda on that board?
Absolutely support that. It's important that everybody gets a fair and equal shot at doing it. So I think that we need to come together and plan ahead better. You wouldn't spring something on your employees in a business and say, oh, by the way, you need to be able to speak on this in 48 hours. Good luck. So we need to have put our trustees in a position where they have a little bit more time to think about these things. And also that also helps them not have to take text messages from the community during the meetings. If they've got more time to prepare and listen to the community, then they won't have to be getting those messages during the meetings. So that's an important thing.
Definitely. We need to get community involved, parents involved, students involved. There's so many when I look at the closed meetings, that what are they trying to hide? As a trustee, I have nothing to hide. I'm here to do my job. It's all open book. Everything is right up front. This is the budget. This is what we feel like. You have an input, please. So parents, from one meeting to next, there shouldn't be just the superintendent decide what he wants to talk about. It should be the trustees also, parents also. There have been meetings where kids came from different schools, and they had to wait hours and hours just to make their point. No, they should be the first one. If they have an issue, we should be hearing them first, because that can, 80 or 90% of those issues can be resolved in a click. But we don't hear. Why? Why don't we hear to the students and the teachers and the parents to resolve their issues? It's their issues. So as a trustee, it has to be open book, and it has to be fully, everybody should be involved.
Mr. Kelly?
Thank you. So, what can you tell me about the Military Interstate Children's Compact? And if elected, how will you ensure that every counselor, registrar, and district personnel understand it?
To be honest, I have no idea what we're talking about. If you can explain, okay. But bottom line is, military is very important to the kids. To be ROTC, all those programs, we need to do those programs to keep kids busy. There's an old saying, idle mind gets in trouble. Same thing with the kids. So every day, that's what I'm going to try to get them do after school activities. When I was a substitute teacher, I did an event and I said, okay, we're going to start a spelling bee. Okay, guess how many kids showed up? 150 plus. And this was Jack Daly Elementary on Eastern and Tropicana. Okay? Kids want to learn, they want to get involved. Parents, teachers, there's no budget for it. I did it for 2.5 months, and then because I didn't have extra help, they couldn't, so I had to stop.
James, can I educate on a little? Oh, yeah, go ahead. So the Military Interstate Compact Commission, what that has to do with is, obviously, military kids move a lot. They move from place to place. So there has to be a way to ensure that when they move, that's a seamless move, and that they have agreements with states so that when they transfer credits, they can actually graduate. So, for example, let's say their family the service member has to but they get transferred while this child's in they're about to begin their senior year. So it's to ensure that their credits will go with them and they can transfer and perform appropriately. That's it.
Let me just add to it. Definitely the area I live in Aliente, all my neighbors are Air Force. Okay? And they do move. And I've been there for 10, 12 years. Every 2 years they get deployed. So technically, I don't know what we can do as CCSD because this is national. Should be congressmen and all those. But yes, definitely. But all the neighbors' kids that I've been in touch with, they're doing awesome. But to be honest, yes, one of my neighbors, she was home. There were 2 kids that they were home because of the same reason. Chances are they're being transferred so many places. Very good for the kids too, because they meet new friends, new this, but also very bad because every time they get uprooted, senior year, junior year, nothing. So.
Thank you for the question, and thank you for bringing my attention to that. I think it's a great, I don't know that was in existence when I was moving around. Even though we weren't military, we moved like military, and it was really hard when we transitioned to a new state. So having that in place for our veterans and their families and our active duty members is really, I think that's so beneficial. You do lose a lot when you go from one state to the next. And when we are looking at helping our students navigate this, I hope that we are working with our school counselors and they're reaching out to the school counselors at the new schools and talking to them about what the credits and where they can transfer. I think we need to encourage that. I had a parent who advocated for us, so when I moved my senior year, my mother was able to, help me get into programs, but we need to make sure that we're advocating for all of those students too. So I'm so happy to hear about this program. Thank you for bringing it to my attention.
One more, Jim, or are we done?
Yeah, we're actually out of time. We're going to go ahead and move now I'll give each one of the candidates, you get 1 minute to just for final wrap up, why you're the best candidate. Also, please make sure you give your point of contact and any of your information so that people can get involved with your campaign as well. Let's go ahead and ladies first.
Thank you. I hope to earn your vote. And I hope to earn your endorsement. I believe that we can work as a community to bring our school district farther. We are making great strides here in Nevada, but I think we can do a lot better. Like I said, I'm passionate about education. I'm passionate about making a difference. It's important to me that we make Clark County a school district where every student succeeds and has a path toward an education that's approachable. I'm sorry, that's equitable. I have been working in education for 30 years. I started teaching in 1997. And one of the reasons I ran, and I've been thinking about running, is when we passed No Child Left Behind, I was teaching in Baltimore City. And the students had learning issues, and they were already behind. And then they had to answer questions about an airplane. And they had never been to the zoo, let alone out of the city, let alone on an airplane. So we need to do better, because since then, we've just been blaming the teachers. We need to do better. We need to start making policy that benefits our most vulnerable students. Because when we make policies and programs to develop the lower students, the students who need the most help, we're going to cover everybody, and everybody moves forward. Thank you.
Oh, point of contact, how to get involved in your campaign, you want to?
Sure. My website is Eady, my last name, EADY, for Nevada.com. On socials, I'm at Eady for Kids on X, and Eileen_Eady on Instagram. Come check me out. I also have a coffee meetup every weekend somewhere in the district, so you can check it out on my website and on Facebook, and come meet me at a coffee shop and let's talk.
Thank you very much. Deven?
As I said, I'm glad to see you all here. It shows you guys do care. And I see different packs, different heads, different. I thought there was only going to be one, but very good. And you guys, I know you guys are always doing, but you should get more involved and let the students know that high school diploma is the least. If you drop out, there's not much you can do out there. Army is looking for highly trained. Nowadays, even in Army, you cannot go, oh, okay, I'll just go shoot. No. Everything needs technology. Communicate, everything needs technology. We are falling way, way behind. Now, yes, a long time ago, even in my family, we were thinking of how this new technology is going to help. But most of the time, to be honest, it is hurting. We are getting too lazy. I know of kids who don't even know how to write, so they speak. And that is the education system right now in Nevada, Las Vegas, technically all over USA. Thank you.
Again, point of contact.
Sorry, just to let you know, this is how unprepared I am for this. It's just the passion. It's just, I don't want to use a couple of words. After I saw what was happening with Jara, this and that, and then when I saw, I said, no, I cannot be quiet. And so I have to do something. So this is what I teach my kids, that if there's a problem, you have to solve it. So right now, all I have is my email, electdevensingh@gmail.com. I do not even have a Facebook page. I do not have a website. I'm working on it, but I will get on it. Thanks. Phone is 702-525-9032, and email electdevensingh@gmail.com.
Okay, well, first off, I just really want to thank the candidates. Thank you very much. I know it's nerve-wracking. And I also want to really thank Pastor Washington for stepping in on this moderating role. I know it's kind of, it's a new experience. It could be pretty nerve-wracking. Right now, I just want to make sure I give a special thanks to our sponsors, Brown Law Office, Stephanie Phillips, U.S. Senate candidate, Ava Bravo, Las Vegas Justice of the Peace Department 2 candidate, Kristen Bishop, Nevada State Senate District 5 candidate, and also Barbie's Goodies, Vegas. So with that being said, that will conclude our interview process.